All right. So Richard, I know you a little bit. It's nice to see you again.
You as well.
Richard Spear from OnDeck, the president of the OnDeck U.S. operation at the moment, correct?
Yes.
Now, Richard, you know, our paths have been crossing. I used to teach at the school that you're now a part of. I rolled in there the other day and saw four beautifully pimped out yellow and black FAR 40s. Talk to us about OnDeck Charleston, and then we can talk about this thing here.
Well, quickly, briefly, OnDeck Charleston, we've actually been here now. We've established for 4.5 months. 24 months ago, I brought the principals of OnDeck into Charleston, introduced them to the charm of the city, and this is
the UK-based principals.
Yes, this incredible sailing city. They stayed for 4 days and left convinced that Charleston is the place that they needed to start their operations and build the base of U.S. businesses here.
Well, congratulations to you. I think when you're looking at up-and-coming sailing cities and places that are nice year-round, obviously this one stands out. Where's the program at right now? Let me just get this cord out of here so we don't. Heads up, guys, on this. All right. But you know, what's the program? Where is it at right now? I saw those nice boats. I know Ned continues to do a lot of teach a lot of sailing, 1,000 students a year. I think he turns out now. But what's going on with those race boats, and what's going on with the next 6 months for OnDeck Charleston?
Well, the next 6 months will be interesting for sure, not just in Charleston, but really OnDeck in general. We are growing. Of course, the idea was to acquire a sailing school with a great reputation, much like the reputation that OnDeck has in Europe. With their sea school and their training, and that provided the inroads to the Charleston market, and then refine that and bring the organizational and management skills of the OnDeck company into the sea school and expand that into other areas, be it charters, bareboat charters, yacht management, everything that really has to do with sailing. And sailing craft. The FAR 40s came up from St. Thomas. Those were based in our Caribbean location. They just arrived. We're getting them upfitted and ready to race, basically, here in Charleston, where we'll do match racing, we'll do corporate training, we'll do corporate entertainment, and also, of course, be very active, hopefully, in the core races here, both offshore and the harbor races that are part of the Charleston sailing scene.
What about traveling further afield? I mean, you know, having four FAR 40s gives you the opportunity to sort of make or break a regatta, I would think. You know, at some of like, for instance, the FAR 40 Worlds had 10 boats in the Dominican Republic a few months back. Wasn't even really a regatta. But if you can say, well, we have 4 and we can charter them out for a low enough price to get people interested, are they in that kind of condition that they could go race one design or no?
They are not today. But part of what we're doing over the next 60 to 90 days is bringing those, part of that upfit is to bring them up to par. We'll put 2 into service first, and if as we work through that, bring the other 2 into service. But the idea is to actually link up with the FAR people and begin to develop that program in the U.S. With the FARs that we own, as well as those that are in the circuit today.
Interesting. And I know OSA stood out in part because of they had a Melgus 24 racing clinic that they still offer, and they have a Melgus 20, and you know, they're one of the few sailing schools in the country you can go in and go learn how to race one design in a specific boat. Obviously, the FAR 40s with OnDeck add to that. But what about this corporate charter concept? I mean, is this something like, for instance, I've heard people tell me, well, you know, I'm kind of scared to like bring my employees down and put them on a big race boat. What does OnDeck say to that?
Well, one of the things that OnDeck does the best, and there are a lot of them, is the corporate business, is the corporate entertaining. And, for instance, we are going to host the Charleston to Bermuda race, and we'll bring in 4 FAR 65s, as well as the FAR 40s and our other boats in the fleet that will actually participate in that race. And we will sell some to a complete boat to corporate for entertainment. We'll sell individual seats on some of the FARs. But part of that is 2 days of training where we'll train you on the boat, and we do that extraordinarily well. So that novices, first-time people aboard, we had 13 boats in the Heineken Regatta. We had a lot of first-time sailors They were trained properly and obviously a safe passage and actually won some races.
Yeah.
So it's part of what we do is safety is a big issue, number one actually, but also the training that goes along with that. And so it gives individuals an opportunity to participate in those kind of events. With cows was the same way. We just finished cows. I think we had maybe 12, 14 boats in cows. Some of those people had never sailed before.
Right.
But they came off the boat with a great experience. And part of that, again, is training and focus on safety.
Yeah. Do we need to adjust this just now, or can we wait another couple minutes? All right. Tide is slacking off a little bit, it looks like. And our boat's starting to drift in the current a little. The current adds a little bit of spice, I think, to Charleston.
That's part of it.
It is, it is. But, you know, and I think one of the reasons that we got excited when we heard OnDeck was coming to the U.S., we're familiar, in fact, with their cows operation. We know they do a good job. And they do a good job of marketing, which is sort of the really important part of the business. You know, you guys have plans to spread throughout the United States. How is that? How are those plans going? And what do you think that's going to sort of add to the sailing and racing scene in America?
Well, certainly we hope to be a major player. We are doing it thoughtfully, hopefully well, and actually Charleston is unique in that it offers us the ability to do everything that we do well in a single base, and that's pretty unusual for OnDeck. We have places where we've not, because of the conditions or just the environment there, we can't have a school or we can't do excursion sailing or whatever it is, but Charleston is the first stop where every element that we need to succeed, including 4 million tourists, is right here for us. So we have selected Charleston as the starting point, and Charleston will serve primarily as a beta site, if you will, for finding out what works, tweaking it, finding the nuances of what we're doing, improving that, and then hopefully replicating that on both coasts.
Yeah, and that steady stream of tourists obviously has to be a huge benefit. How do you capture them?
Well, that's interesting, and Charleston's one of the more difficult place to do that because Charleston's been kept very pristine and clean, so that it remains a wonderful place to come and visit, but not a totally tourist attraction like some of the other cities that are on the coast. So to reach that crowd is a little difficult. We will work through all the existing people that sell those services. Of course, we are out calling on and eager to do business with the destination management companies here, any kind of event planners, and we're beginning that program now to reach out to those folks and let them know we're here, but more so to let them know that we're here and you can have a lot of fun with this in a safe way. And OnDeck has done this successfully now for 10 years. Yeah. And they've done it well.
No, and it should be plug and play, I think, in a lot of respects.
That's exactly Pete Anthony, our chairman. That's exactly his term for it, plug and play.
What about Charleston Race Week? Obviously, you add 15, 20 boats to cows over the past few years, just with charters. Can you do that with Charleston Race Week? And I mean, I know Race Week is on pace for 200 this coming year.
Well, we hope to be a part of all of these events and contribute to them, as well as the community, the sailing community here. We'll put in as many boats as spots as we can fill, and we're looking forward to have the OnDeck flag flying as a part of that race.
Can people how can people find out what they can charter from OnDeck for the next race week, for instance?
Well, one of the things that I think we do really well is offer the sailing experience, especially competitive sailing experience on world-class competitive boats at a very, very affordable price, so that you can buy a single seat. As we've done in Antigua, we certainly have done in the race in St. Martin. We've opened up competitive sailing to people who want to participate but could never afford to get there otherwise. And so we'll do the same thing with Race Week, offering corporate charters for a full boat or individual charters, but also individual seats, where part of that is a day or a day and a half of training, and then on the race with a captain, crewed, and a chance to win.
Sounds pretty good. Check out OnDeckSailing.com for more. And I think, Richard, I'll give you the Matlock question, which is, give me the next few locations: San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Miami. Come on.
That's top secret and above my pay grade. But I will say this, that Charleston was selected as the #1 spot. Of course, everyone, especially Europeans, thought that Annapolis should be the place, or Newport.
Annapolis.
Yeah. And here we are in Charleston. So we got to get this one
I'm
right.
not allowed back in Annapolis. I've badmouthed the sailing conditions there too many times.
So we got to get this one right, get it tuned, and we'll move on from there.
That was a non-answer. West Coast or East Coast? What's the next spot?
East Coast.
There you go. I will say this: Annapolis for racing may not be my cup of tea, but for cruising, it's awesome. It's a spectacular spot. There's so many places to gunko and the crabs and the fish.
You saved yourself. I
did. Annapolis people, they all hate me anyway. It's okay. Well, Richard, look, thank you for being part of presenting this broadcast to the world this morning. We've already had a few thousand.
Be a supporter of this guy.
Well, that was actually the fun thing. You guys have come on board at a late time to help Brad get around the world. Now, everyone knows this is a homespun operation here. This is grassroots as it comes.
Which makes it perfect for us.
It makes it perfect for you guys.
Yeah. We actually, Brad and Megan both were instrumental in bringing OnDeck to Charleston. Yeah. 24 months ago when I had them in, Brad got them out in the rib on a cold day. They pretty much gave up at that point and said, okay, Charleston. Megan and Brad were both a party to dinner with 36 people entertaining them in the Charleston way. And more importantly, I sat next to Brad at that dinner. He was talking about his former exploits, and he still had that gleam in his eye. And I left the dinner saying to a couple of my colleagues, this guy's not done. And here he is.
And here's his wife rolling up. But we want to thank you for your support of Brad, for coming to this great town. And we'll see a lot more from you, I think, sir. Thanks again. OnDeckSailing.com or check out OnDeck.co.uk. You know, it's good stuff, folks. This is the place to be if you're into sailing in the U.S.